Welcome to CS Design Studio's presentation, The Marketing Corner, with co-host Shawn Campbell and Wyatt Chambers. The Marketing Corner is your source for the latest and greatest in today's world of marketing and entrepreneurship. And now, without further ado, it's Shawn Campbell and Wyatt Chambers.
And welcome back, everybody, to CS Design Studios presents The Marketing Corner with yours truly. I'm Shawn Campbell. Where's my applause?
I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. There it is. And with the extraordinary engineer, Aaron Owens. You notice how he was right on top of that. And our special guest, Candice Eaton. How you doing, Candice?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
The crowd loves you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Did you hear that one guy go, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was an extra, yeah, just for you.
Yeah.
So we got a really good show today. We're going to be talking about a little bit about photography, which is your area of expertise, but more so a little bit more about branding.
Okay.
You and I have had a lot of phenomenal discussions about branding. So I think you really kind of like have your own unique take on it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. You never noticed that?
That I'm unique.
Yeah. You never noticed that?
I mean, most of the stuff I get
Yeah.
from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I can't say I'm
I don't know.
all that
I don't
special.
know. You're a very independent thinker. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, quite frankly.
Oh, all right.
So, Aaron, you and I have talked a little bit before the show started about what the topic is today. Do you have any questions offhand that you about branding or photography or anything like that? Do you want to ask Candice first?
Shoot. Yeah, I do have some questions. Starting with photography, we'll go there. One thing I've noticed with photography is that, like, how can I ask this? How do you? Anytime I've been like on vacation or been somewhere where there's people who are real photographers, they're able to frame a scene and they actually know how it's going to look in the end. Whereas with me, I'm more of the type who just takes a bunch of pictures and go back and look and see what I need to do.
So how do quality over quantity?
Yeah. How do you like find something and oh, this is going to be good, and you know what I'm saying? Versus me, who I won't know. I just shoot and hope for the best. I feel like that's a talent and a skill.
It's definitely a skill. It requires practice and learning how to frame something. I can't say that Photoshop is not most photographers' best friend. Mm-hmm. So when I take a picture with my camera, a professional level camera versus a cell phone, there is software in your cell phone. When you take the picture, the software looks at the picture and decides this is the best possible picture that we can create out of the information that you've given me. Mm-hmm. And it processes that image before it gets up on the screen. So what you're looking at on the screen is a fully post-processed image. The camera, the software doesn't know what you want artistically. When you point it at a scene, it doesn't know that, you don't want the subject to be dark or light, or it's processing it to make it the best possible picture based on their algorithm. When I take a picture with my camera collects all of the information in the scene, and then I put it into Photoshop to post-process it, and I process that information to make it look exactly the way that I want it to look. So that's one big difference between you taking a picture with your cell phone and me taking a picture with my camera is that, I see the scene and I'm like, okay, this is what I see. This is what I want to get out of it. I set up my settings in order to collect the information that I need to collect. And then when I post-process it, I make it look the way I want it to look. When you're framing a scene is there's some real basic rules that you can use to frame a scene to get a better composition for anybody. You don't have to have an expensive piece of equipment to get good composition. One of the rules that everybody goes to is called the rule of thirds. So if you take your viewfinder or the screen on your phone, basically, and I think that most phones actually have the ability to bring up a grid that shows thirds. You place your subject on one of those lines. So it gives you a
So the subject is
hashed
centered
grid.
on the line.
Not necessarily.
No?
So there's psychology to it,
Right.
actually. And the psychology is that if you place the subject directly on one of those lines on the thirds, then the human eye and the human brain automatically is going to be drawn to that. If you place it on one of the points where those lines cross, that's an even stronger composition to where the eye is and the brain is going to be drawn to that subject. So another thing is, like, if you're doing a landscape, you don't want to put the horizon right in the middle of the image because it gives it almost too much balance. So a lot of times you put the horizon on the top third or on the bottom third, depending on what part of the overall image you want to accentuate. So,
Gotcha.
and then there's, you can look up photo composition rules, just Google it and find like a Pinterest page or something, the top 10 list of best ways to improve your photographic composition.
Is this something that is self-taught or something that you've picked from the many facets from your career? You have a very eclectic career. That's going to be another podcast.
Oh, you're bringing me back.
Yeah. Tell Aaron like a few of your positions that you've had.
Okay. Yeah.
A little bit about your background and how you became actually a photographer.
So immediately prior to starting my photography business, I was a product development engineer. I built medical devices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Before that, I decided to go to college when I was 27. So I did my undergrad degree at 27 and then a master's degree after that. Before that, I was selling pools and spas.
Okay.
When
It makes sense, right?
When the last recession showed up. So there's a method to my madness, I swear. So I was selling pools and spas, and like we couldn't sell enough pools and spas. I was making money hand over fist. It was fantastic. And then the president at the time, in all of his infinite wisdom, went on television after 6 years of being like, the economy's great. The economy ain't nothing wrong with the economy. One night he decides to get on TV and be like, the economy is kind of overnight. We went from selling things and making money to nothing. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a broke salesperson for the next few years or broke college student because I'm going back to school. So, yeah, that's how I got there.
And you sold cars.
Pardon?
You've sold cars.
Oh, yeah, I sold cars before pools and spas. I sold insurance. I sold slung beer.
Again, that's another podcast. We talk about your.
I was an EMT. I was.
Yeah, an EMT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it does. It how does it make sense, Aaron?
I was 12 years old running my dad's shop, learning to play graphic design artist. So.
Yeah. So a lot of what you do is self-taught.
Pretty much, yeah.
One thing.
Except the EMT thing, they made me go to school for that.
Yeah. I hope so. But with your photography business, C. Eaton Photography, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of that is self-taught, just your intuition and your intellect and digging into it. One thing I have to say is that your photos are very unique, as opposed to other photographers out there where you could tell it's like that's so and so because he's doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
So I mean, is that something that's consciously thought out for you to establish your own brand that way, or is it just
No.
I tried to set you up there, but
I mean, so I do when I work with each individual client, like I try to tailor what I do to my client.
yeah,
There is a school of thought in the photography world that, and I feel like I have a consistent style. Like my images aren't all over the place style wise, like color and things like that. Like you look at my portfolio and they all look like they were taken by the same person and edited by the same person.
Right.
But when I'm with a client, I don't like to force what I want on my client.
Right.
And there's just kind of this thought in the industry that, you know, your style, I feel like it's kind of pressed that style should be so consistent that it looks the same from one shoot to the next. And I feel like each one of my clients is different. I have some clients who, you know, they do present a more refined, stylized, curated sort of presentation in their brand. And I want to reflect that in the images that I create for them. And I have other clients who are a little more kind of all over the board. And I feel like when I create images for them, I want to create images that show off each one of those different facets of their personality and their brand and their style. So I kind of adjust myself and how I create images to each person that I'm working with.
Yeah. You don't know this, Aaron. I don't think you know this, but last week I was actually a client of Candice's, and I've had a few other photo shoots, you know, but working with Candice was easy.
Okay, wait. So what kind of photo shoot were you like? Are we talking like guest model, or are we talking like?
No. I was wearing Boss. Who was?
I'm sorry. I apologize. Boss.
No, it was done at my old office downtown. You know, I really like that space. It's a lot of wood. It's old and, you know, unrefined, and so we did a little photo shoot there. And do you want to tell more about that particular new concept you have?
Sure.
Yeah, talk about that and how you came up with it, and a little bit about the process.
So I cooked this up, started working on it, kind of the feel of it, I guess, on my way back from my trip to Oregon this summer, because I took off for a month and spent a month out sleeping in the dirt and being dirty and smelly, and I really I feel good there. I feel good camping. I feel good out in the middle of nowhere covered in dirt and haven't had a shower in a couple days. And driving home, anytime I come home from something like that, I start to get depressed. And this time, like, it started to happen again. Like, I had 2,000 miles worth of to work my way up to it.
You showered in a few days. I mean, what are you supposed to feel?
You know what? my Planet Fitness membership paid off this year.
Yeah.
For the shower thing. So each town I stopped in, everybody got to know me real well at Planet Fitness. But I'm not the only one who uses Planet Fitness like that. Like, there was a whole bunch of us, most of us women, like, all pulling into the parking lot at opening time, getting our towels and stuff out of the back of our cars and trotting in.
I understand.
I'm here to use your showers.
I understand what you mean. Because when I moved here, I moved from Connecticut, so I drove clear across the country. So
okay.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you gotta find places to stop and get a shower. Planet Fitness is a great one.
Yep.
I know people who use truck stops. So I was making my way back home, and I started to like feel that thing, and I'm like, oh, I got to go back. I got to go back to my life. And really started this time. I decided, I'm going to really think, do some navel gazing, and navel gazing, not navel. Yeah. Anyways, there's been some confusion as to what I've been saying lately. This would be our first
podcast where we need some edits.
It's not the radio.
Navels?
It's not the radio.
No, it's not. Gotta make sure when we upload it to YouTube, is this for kids?
No.
I'm not child friendly. I've never admitted. I've never claimed to be. So I was really thinking about it on my way home, and one of the things that was really bugging me was like, I gotta go put back on those clothes. I gotta put on the clothes. Those clothes. It's those clothes, and those clothes. I realized were representing me trying to present myself in a way that wasn't true to me. Covered in dirt, smelly Candice doesn't appreciate shift dresses. So, and that's kind of the process that I went through. I was like, I'm spending a lot of time trying not to alienate the wrong people and not enough time trying to attract the right people. And so I got home on a Saturday night and promptly went into my closet and removed all of the clothes that weren't me.
Wow.
Pulled them out, threw them out the front door, took them to the giveaway the next day.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I'm done. I'm not wearing that dress again. I'm not wearing those pants again. Like they just don't feel like me. If I had my way, I'd wear shorts and flip-flops or bare feet everywhere I go. So I started making some changes in my own personal presentation, which, boils down to my brand. If I'm going to change how I present myself, the way I speak, the way I look, the way I behave, that's making a significant change to my brand.
Right.
And I decided, this is what we're going to do. And I was listening to a podcast one morning, another photographer who was talking about how she does branding sessions, and she does these storytelling kind of sessions. Hers are a little more focused on like personal portraiture, and the questions that she asks people are way more personal and less focused on their brand and their business. But when I heard this, I was like, that's really cool. She does an interview with them. Right. And when she's doing the interview, she prepares the photo shoot while she's doing the interview and, learning about this person and prepares the photo shoot with, the posing and the backdrops and all this stuff in a way that reflects what she's hearing from the people she's talking to and the emotions and the feelings and the vulnerability.
Right.
And as I was listening to her talk, I was like, this sounds cool to me. This sounds like something I would like to do. I would like to participate in. I would feel good creating. And so I went home and went through a bunch of my photo shoots from the past year or so and was like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I need to have something to like promotional images. So started looking through past photo shoots. And as I was going through them, I noticed that a lot of the images that I've been creating in my past photo shoots really reflect this style and this idea anyways, which made sense that I was not comfortable with what I had been doing because I was again trying to create something that wasn't in my style, that didn't fit, me or my clients for that matter. And so I started pulling images and doing some re-edits and stuff so that I could build up a website. And noticing, I've been doing this all along.
Right.
You know,
right.
so I may as well just go for it. And then started asking some people to help me out so that I could get some more images with the new process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now I'm offering this storytelling type of branding session that is, it's not as curated as what we're used to seeing these days for branding images. You know,
Right,
branding images today are very stylized, very curated looking, very, you know, the presentation that I was trying to come up with for myself and decided that's just not me, right? And a lot of my clients that have come to me previously for photos that's not them either. They are more, you know, more raw and more vulnerable, and you know, they don't necessarily want that stylized feel to their images. So it just sort of came naturally as I decided that I was just going to go out and do what I want to do and do things my way and make things mine.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in to the Marketing Corner. Follow us on Facebook or visit us at csdesignsstudios.com today.